Viewer discretion is advised. As always, this week's podcast is brought to you in part by Jepson's Malort. They're not paying me to say that, but god damn it is it tasty. Run out and get yourself some Malort today. So everybody, I hope your time has been well spent. I hope everyone you know and love is doing alright, and hope everyone's hanging in there. Hope everyone's had a good week. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I hope your week this week's starting out awesome. It's been pretty nice up here in Chicago. We've had a little bit of rain, but we had a lot of sun, so you can't complain. Had a good day today. Went down to the beach. One of my buddies, Jay, he's back in town, and he just spent about a month out in Berlin, and me and him got to sit down, so I got that pod to bring out. But today's pod was pretty special. My guest didn't know he was going to be on a podcast when he woke up that day, but you know what? He came over and we sat around BSing and we had a great time. We talk everything from Pokemon to pro wrestling, so if you're not a 13-year-old boy or me and my friends, you might want to check out some of our other episodes. I'm just playing. It's actually a lot of fun, even if it's not your thing. There's a lot of passion in this conversation, which is awesome. And as always, I know some pretty awesome people, so I hope you all get to join me and my guest for this hour and 45 minutes. We're going to see how long Facebook lets us record for, so every time we're going to go an extra 5 minutes and see how it goes. So, we're at an hour 45 with give or take about 10, about that 2 hours. Alright everybody, buckle in, buckle up. Grab your favorite recreational substance and abuse it. Alright, I'll check back in with you in a bit. Enjoy! 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of High and Low, everybody. I am here today with one of my oldest buddies from the park, Mr. Zam. Zam, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Tyler, man. Good seeing you. It's been a little bit.
It has been a minute, man. For the folks out there who don't know, I met Zam 4 years ago, 4 or 5, roughly.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, right after I turned 21, you were one of my first drinking buddies, man.
Yeah, I remember not believing that you were 21.
A lot of people didn't believe I was 21, especially the bars I went to when I was 20.
Yeah,
oh, God, bless their hearts.
Yeah.
So, where you from, man? Let's get into it.
Just outside of Chicago, Park Ridge. You know, little... very, very suburban. You know, happy to not be there now.
Well, that's good to hear, man. When did you move out of... Sorry, I forgot to put my phone on silent. That's like the one...
That's fine.
My own rule.
The one rule that you need to have. And
absolutely.
You broke it within, what, less than 2 minutes?
We are like a minute 9 in.
So in less than 1 minute, you broke your number one rule.
I was hoping to get to 10 episodes without doing this mess up, and you know what? Not going to happen.
Nope.
Not going to happen. I just broke the streak. We got to restart the streak. Did you put your phone on silent?
My phone's always on silent.
You're a better guest than I am a host. Regardless, so when did you end up making the move?
Somewhere around 7 or so years ago. 7.5 years ago. Yeah.
What inspired the move, man?
Worked in Evanston, and the commute from Park Ridge was not exactly the greatest. And then, like we had said, meeting in a bar, doing karaoke. I met some friends through that. They talked about trying to get a place. I'm like, hey, would you mind a third roommate? I can see about trying to I want to get out of my folks' house. This area is a hell of a lot closer to work. This is also where my workmates live, and we all go out. It'd be a lot nicer to stumble home drunk from the bar instead of risk a DUI.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. DUIs are fucking awful.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive, guys. But I know it's more difficult in rural areas compared for we can call a Lyft and get home, or we can walk home. It's 6 blocks or so.
I mean, you can walk home in a rural area. You just have to go through 3 woods and cross over 2 rivers.
It's insane. One of my friends.
You have to save your oxen from dysentery.
Right. One of my friends walked from my hometown to Chicago. And it's a 2-hour drive. And I was like, you walked it? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, why? Why would you do that? And he was like, I don't know. I just wanted to see if I could do it.
Was it one
Dude
one
took
day?
A tent? No. It was 2 days and an early morning.
Like he had to stay the night a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to have him on and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I was like, what did you do? And he's like, no, I just walked across like fields and like along a highway, and like I just walked the whole route. Had a pup tent and like a sleeping bag. And
phone had to die pretty early on.
Probably.
Because this was, I'm assuming, before like portable battery packs.
This was like 2 years ago.
Right, so no, maybe his phone was fine then if you had a battery pack.
But still, like, that's... You ever hear about people who do ultramarathons or anything and, like, run cross-country or, like, Forrest Gump trails and shit?
Yeah, I've heard about that stuff. I don't know anybody personally who's done it, but...
I don't either, but I don't know if I could do that, man.
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I can't run half the block to the train.
I complain about, like... Yeah, like you said, like, having to go on a commute. Like, just, like, to walk that far. But, I mean, if you got a good enough cause, shit, why not?
If it was like a 500-foot sprint, I can't make it.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm walking, I'll do about anything. Like, to complete my my Mew quest for Pokemon Go, I just took just a couple of weeks ago, like the week, like 1 or 2 weeks before the Celebi quest started up.
Right.
I went down to Lincoln Park Zoo, and I literally just walked around in like loops in and around the zoo, hitting raids. It was the raid quest.
Yeah.
And thankfully finding out that you could just quit the raid and it would count for the quest. And I had accidentally bought a pack that gave me a bunch of raid passes.
Okay.
So I was never going to use these things because I don't really go out and do raids.
Right.
So like I never use them. So I'm like, okay, I can literally waste them and just get my Mew.
See, and that's the interesting thing, though, is...
But I probably walked like 7 miles, like doing
easily.
that.
When that game first came out, I think I walked 15 miles in the first 24 hours or something. It was insane. Remember when we walked from Evanston to like the bottom tip of Rogers Park, all along the beach, just catching everything we could?
Dude.
And we were happy. We were happy to get like 10 horsey.
Oh, yeah, back in those days. Well, dude, there was this past... I would say when the weather first turned good this past spring.
Right.
Not long after the third gen had just come out. The more I'm speaking louder because he left the room, even though I should not have.
I didn't leave the room.
He's breaking more rules.
Stop putting me out there, man.
Just stop blowing up your spot.
Yeah. No. Put me on blast, son.
That's what big brothers are for, man.
God, that's why they call you Zam GodDamn, because you like to just
the
fucker under the bus.
Well, no, the tagline is whether you think I'm doing good or bad, you're going to curse my name.
GodDamn.
No, but no, it was. I want to say everything from Gen 3, like from the wide releases, had officially come out, and I think because of that, I was kind of mentally trying to prepare myself for Gen 4.
Right.
And I had, in one day, just because it was nice, I decided to do a walk along that same path that we did that one day. Do a walk, and found out that basically for a solid week, that entire pathway, like almost the entire lakefront in Evanston, was a hotbed for spawning Whalmer and Rhyhorn.
Have you gotten your shiny Wilmer yet?
I didn't care about... Like, honestly, I haven't really cared as much about shinies. I think I have 3 total shinies. I've got a Love Disc back from the Valentine's event.
Mm-hmm.
I got... Which I was only catching them because they had all the bonus Stardust.
Right.
So that I probably caught like 5 dozen.
Nice.
But I got 1 shiny from that. I got a shiny Pikachu.
Okay.
Which I immediately evolved.
For sure. Now, real quick, with the Pikachus, do you find yourself catching every like variation that comes out and holding on to them, or have you?
I ignore them.
Yeah, you just ignore them.
No, especially the hats. They don't.
The hats are the bane of my existence.
They don't let you group delete the hats.
No, not at all.
You can't group delete the hats, and that pisses me off because that led people that I knew, like a friend of mine, she was pissed because she thought she couldn't get rid of them. She's like, she flat out thought she couldn't get rid of them. I was like, then I thought that too, and then I was like, no, I need this gone now.
Right.
Like, and you just have to go in individually and get rid of it. Because, like, are you sure it's commemorative? It's like, bullshit, it's not commemorative, it's a piece of code.
Right. Right. especially now with trading, you can get one from anyone. Like at first,
Yeah.
I was holding on to them because I knew that people, once this trading started, there would be people who jumped on the bandwagon later who didn't have like the birthday hat Pikachu or something like that.
Speaking of trading, though, real quick, we should
Yeah.
like. I know you've got some stuff that like I could possibly need.
Oh yeah,
So we
sure.
should put out a trade at some point during
they
this.
need to they really need to update the trading a little bit to where they have some more freedoms with giving friends shit that they don't have.
Well, for it not to cost us that much.
Right. Well, not just that. Like, here's the thing: if I hit like good friend with somebody, that means I've played enough with this person to like, come on, let me give them something that they don't have. Like, there's certain rules. There's been times where I'm like, oh yeah, I have this. And there's a player of a certain level who might even be in like mid-20s to late 20s, and I'm sitting there trying to give them something simple like a Nidoqueen. You know, they don't get those anymore, so just, here, let me give them a Nidoqueen. And they're like, nope, they haven't seen one or this or that. I don't know, maybe I'm getting it wrong. There's something
If you haven't
weird.
seen it,
There's been weird shit with it before,
that can't be
man.
true.
I don't think we should do this right now.
No, we can talk and do this.
Yeah,
we can
talk and
multitask.
do a trade.
We can
Okay.
absolutely multitask. Are you kidding me?
Deal.
You think I cannot talk? I can't multitask with Pokemon involved?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Well, see, and that's another thing. Like,
I was one
tell me
time
about when you played the games as a kid. Or when
Oh
you
yeah,
were younger.
I had a game reserved at a Toys R Us.
Are you serious?
First generation.
For which color?
Pokemon Blue.
Okay.
Reserved
You
at
that shit.
Pokemon Blue reserved at a Toys R Us opening release day.
So you're a little bit older than me, and you were a
Yes.
kid when this came out.
I was in the 7th grade.
That's kid. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no, I'm giving specifics for the
Yeah.
viewers.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I am judging and looking directly at the microphone as if you were here
Yeah.
in the microphone.
We always do that. Actually, we always
it's-
do that.
yeah,
For
like
you
it's-
listening, we're just picturing your face on this microphone, and we're looking.
Oh,
lovely into
I
your
was
eyes.
imagining everybody shrunken like Honey I Shrunk the Kids and like crammed into the microphone.
Thanks for going for Honey I Shrunk the Kids instead of that Matt Damon flick that just came out.
What Matt David flick that just
You
came
didn't
out?
see it? Where the
Oh,
smaller or
where
whatever?
they're selling people the concept of living. Yeah, no, who cares about that? Honey Shrunk the Kids. That's Rick Moranis is a boss. Kidding me?
Agreed.
Not Matt Damon.
Oh, fucking Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Making shit potatoes on Mars.
All right.
So, you were saying that
Anyway,
you had a
scroll down
game
bit.
reserved.
Yeah, I had the game reserved because
What was your first thoughts
when I was a
about it?
kid, I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, like back in the day.
And tell the viewers what Nintendo Power
Nintendo
was.
Power was a magazine where I cannot.
See, that's me, man. I told
How
you.
have you never turned
I'm
off
breaking-
in the settings?
Because I had a busted phone, which is actually the gen above the phone I use now, and I switched back because I didn't feel like buying a new phone to a screen that looked presentable. Because I have interviews coming up. And you can't
That
do an
brings me- I'm
interview
just wondering
without-
why your settings in the game aren't set to turn the audio off.
Man, my game settings are always set, and then they somehow reset. I don't know. I don't question it. But
No, so Nintendo Power was a
on
magazine.
Yeah.
Magazines were a paper thing that you would open and read and get in the mail once a month. Sorry.
it's true, though.
Got
I
some of the
remember
magazines are dead.
Do you remember selling magazines as...
Nah, I didn't have to do that one.
Oh, I had to do that.
No,
All right, keep going.
So I added the subscription to that because besides you would get reviews of games, you would get previews of games. This is only for Nintendo stuff. And so this was at a time when you still had the very end of like the Super Nintendo games coming out. So there's a couple of those still being reviewed. You had your Game Boy games, and then you were getting into the Nintendo 64. Had like just come out and was like that was becoming a thing. That was a those were all like getting previewed and reviewed. And there was at one point Pokemon has become this phenomenon in the past year beforehand in Japan. Or Pocket Monsters, as it was referred to there, with the original versions of Red and Green. And when they were getting ready for the American import to start, they actually had inside your copy of Nintendo Power, I think it was in 6 or 8 parts, I can't remember, but a tear out guide that was a direct how to play game guide. Because like, this game is actually crazy hard to do if you don't know what you're supposed to do.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an old school. If you think about it, the original Pokemon is an old school RPG, And old school RPGs, there was no like clear guide of things. There was just here's the story, and hopefully you understood everything exactly right. Like that's what it was.
Right.
And that's the same with the very original Pokemon game. I mean, you didn't have running shoes. You didn't have anything like that.
Go through. Let me know what you need. I'll take this.
There's no running shoes. You had to figuring out how you got the bike was incredibly difficult. Having to waste a slot in attack for Flash.
Yeah.
For multiple caves, including the fucking Victory Road at the end. And this is before they created the move deleter.
Yeah,
so like if you use an HM, like that was it.
Yeah. It was
and
locked.
the only
I had a Charizard with cut.
Yeah, that was terrible. Like, yeah, exactly. And like you needed a powerful team, a ridiculously powerful team to survive Victory Road.
I also feel like since like my experience with the game, I got a Game Boy given to me.
I just need a Spinda. Something nice and simple.
Yeah.
Or if this one's fine, I don't know if you've got. I don't know how you label your stuff.
No, it's totally cool. I got another here.
You
just okay, cool.
I pick something innocuous, like as long as it's not super high CP. That's all that matters to me.
Dig it about it. When I was given the game, it was a birthday gift.
It's actually you want the shiny love disc?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, scroll down for it.
I'll take it. I've been trying to better myself and not curse every episode, but I will drop a.
Why? I'll say why the fuck not?
I don't know.
Feel free to bleep me if needed.
No, you're good.
No, it's blocking the shiny.
Is it favorited?
No. It's blocking my trading you my shiny love disc and my shiny Togetic.
You probably don't have enough CP. Or not CP, you probably don't have enough I said CP like an idiot.
The dust.
Dust. Because it's
you
like
need
a million dust.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, I only got like 40,000.
Okay, no worries. Let me
yeah, because I only have like, and it's not letting me. It's saying I wouldn't be able to trade my Cyndaquil even.
Man, it's fucking tough times. But when
what
I got the
hell?
game, we should stop doing this right now.
Because we're just talking about exactly what we're doing.
About that.
But we're talking about Pokemon the whole time, so it's not like it's anything bad.
That's true, but I'm getting distracted with that. If, like I said, if you want that here, just take it.
Yeah, I'm just
trade it for a Blastoise or something. Just have one. It's all right. I got plenty. But like I was saying,
toss you a C-Dot. I caught the C-Dot on my walk over, so I feel like it's only fair that I should give it to you.
I'm going to name it 007 because the episode this is going up is number 7.
Yeah, it's definitely costing me 16,000 because of getting the Spinda.
Yep, you're welcome, man.
But hey, I wasn't able to do the. I could never find the I thought I didn't know how to get Spinda. The only way I was able to find out about possibly getting one was when. During the Gen 2 events that they had recently,
right?
That there was supposed to be a Pokestop task.
Yeah.
That if you completed it, and I knew which one it was supposed to be, the 3 curveballs.
Yes, and right now look at that registered to Dex. And it was lucky. You just got a lucky fucking Spinda,
and you got lucky C-Dot. Yeah. Sweet. Let's high five.
Lucky. Look at that. Lucky live.
Nice.
Man, we went live and got lucky.
There we go.
Cool. But like I was saying, so
an increased friendship level.
I'm in. It was a gift from my godparents, and they gave me a Game Boy that was black and white, okay? But they didn't know that they had
the big old block one?
Yeah, but they did, and it came with a really kick-ass carrying case, and I carried that case everywhere.
Dude, those things are the size of the Bible.
Dude, it was amazing. And it was my pocket Bible. I spent so much time dedicated to that thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
But they didn't have a game for it, so we had to go to Walmart, and we go to Walmart, and they're looking around, and this is right after the Game Boy Color had been out for like a year or so. Yeah. So they're like, we don't even sell those anymore. Like, I don't know where you got that. But the only game we have that's compatible is Pokemon Yellow. It's backwards compatible. Yeah. Like, he might like it, and I was like, I'll play it.
So Yellow was your first?
Yellow was my first game, hence why my team is Instinct, and I'm the Yellow team. Oops.
Okay. I'm Valor.
I know, so is the wife.
No, I went Valor because...
you switched over?
No, I've always been Valor.
Oh, you said I went Valor, so I just figured
No, I went Valor when I first did the thing. I thought they didn't confirm that you could switch.
Yeah, I think you get one team switch. No, it's name. It's name. You get one name switch.
No, I went Valor because I actually bought into the descriptions of what they were saying. Like when you had to choose your team.
Yeah.
I read through all 3, and at the time when I was getting into it, for what I thought it was about like I went Valor. I realized later that like it really might have been Mystic. It was truly what I probably should have been, because my real thing that I like to do with the game is the walking and hatching.
Right.
And I think that was like more of the Mystic like credo. Like Valor is about you're completing your decks and like you're catching everything and like want the strong ones, shit like that. And then I quickly figured out that like I really didn't care that much about the battling or the gyms.
Right.
In Go. I mean, I kind of like I thought about it the way that I thought about actual Pokemon games,
right?
And the way like I play those, versus like if I had known like how it was going to be different for Go, I probably would have chosen a different team.
See,
because I'm very about reflecting that aspect.
I feel like the meme culture of Instinct really locked in my choice for going Instinct. I laugh all the time because I love seeing like the different memes about all three different teams. Because every time I see the Instinct one, I'm like, yeah, I'd do that. Like, I'd hang out with Spark. Spark's cool, dude.
Yeah,
yeah, Spark. Whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever his name is, we just call him Sparky.
Yeah, we'll call him Sparky.
No, his whole thing is like he was always like the dumb one who's always underestimated,
right?
But he was actually the most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I like seeing those, like some like quick comic strips people had made up, like with fan art involving that with him, like having the Valor and Mystic leaders are kind of like they've been beaten and they're down, and then he just kind of walks in with like wearing his headphones,
right,
and just like
I got this hat
and
here.
Rolls.
We went to
they got some autographs.
Yeah, we went to the YouTuber meetup at the Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago for the second one, and there are the sponsored Niantic players. So there's this guy named Trainer Tips online. He has Trainer Tips Nick, and he goes around with Niantic to all of the big community days, and like this dude uploads like 2 videos a day, and he's part of like this weird combination of like 7 or 8 YouTubers, right? And there's obviously some that are higher than others, and YouTube's got such a huge like diverse culture in itself, like people who play the games on like Twitch, or people who just hold their own show about Pokemon, which is insane because they do it. Like you said, people make their own comic strips. People make so much content.
Well, not even connected with Go. But like I've seen like there's definitely like I've seen like some links on some stuff. Like on the YouTube like various YouTube channels, though a lot of these guys, like I will full on use the term nerdling or mouth breather.
Yeah,
like these. Well, no, what's like
I think it's more their fans though.
Well, no, I'm listening to like the way these guys are talking about stuff and like their voices, and I'm just like, okay, like the way that you're talking about this shit is like way, way, way too in depth.
Right.
Like this goes beyond any type of beyond like anything. Like I can't think of a specific thing, but it mostly it had to do with one, them mislabeling the titles of their videos, because this was
clickbait and stuff,
like clickbait shit. Yeah, like when Sun and Moon were coming out and trying to guess or like make predictions about the Alolan forms, and
there were some cool ideas, though.
No, there were some cool ideas.
Really cool.
There were some cool ideas, but like the way that like some of them were talking about it, it made it sound like they made it sound like they were literally going to have a tantrum,
right, if
the one that they wanted didn't happen. Like it was like that was like the vocalizations I was getting from some of these, because they were titling their videos, "This is what's going to be in the game," and like then when they're talking, it's like super. I mean, they're talking super quick. And with such like a fervor that just says like if this is in the game, it has to be in the game, because if this part's in the game, then like I just don't know, like, and I'm gonna have to quit Pokemon forever if they don't do what I want, because this means they have to do what I want, and then they're gonna listen to me, so that's why it's gonna happen. Like that's the kind of like that's like what half these videos. Oh no, like there's.
Well, what did you think? Did you play Sun and Moon?
I played both versions, and I've gotten through Ultra Sun, and I'm planning a team that I'm trying to breed out to import to do in Ultra Moon.
So
I do some crazy shit when it comes to after I've beaten the game a couple times.
Yeah,
like I definitely got to talk to you about that.
Did you go through and collect all the Zygardes and shit?
I I think I'm like at like 75-80% in my first game from Sun. The second one, I didn't really care so much. It was more so like I had pre-plotted the team I wanted, and I was kind of going through with that.
I was really disappointed because, spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the game, but if you don't give a shit, it's fine. I was really upset about how at the end you get to go into this dark realm, but it's only for like a couple mon. Like, that would have been such a more interesting story.
So Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or
The first Sun and Moon.
the first Sun and Moon?
Like, at the end of it, you know how you get to go through, and what are those, what are the mons called? That
The
are
Ultra
like,
Beasts?
Like, yeah, like Buzz Swole and shit like that. Ultra
Yeah,
Beasts,
the Ultra
right?
Beasts.
But you get to go to this, like, you get to go through the portal.
You go
know
through
what
the
I mean?
portal. It's
Come
literally
on,
just
give
to
me
have
that.
the one battle.
Give me that. Don't give me some kid. Give me a fuck. Like, who is that dude?
I think he was
in. Do you remember the detective in the game who's like, I'm going around experiencing
Looker.
Looker, yeah. So I would have loved to play a Pokemon.
He was
game.
way more involved in the after scenes for X and Y.
I believe it. Oh, sorry, X and Y.
For
That's
X
the game I'm
for
thinking.
X and Y, he was actually he was also involved in the after scenes for Sun and Moon.
Give me a game with him. Give me a game with him where you get to, like, once you're dropped in, you already have a team of Pokemon. Those are your abilities in a sense, right? And then go through and give me, like, a cool detective story. Don't give me Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
seriously,
not.
How old are you, Zam? You are old enough to, like, responsibly play a Pokemon game. This, like, come on.
Dude,
Come on.
You want to old enough to responsibly play a
Like,
Pokemon game?
When are they going to do
Okay.
it, though?
Oh, so you want to talk like
when are they
from?
going to push the boundary? When are they going to give us an adult Pokemon?
Well, no, I just like we were talking about
When are
like
they
the
gonna grow with
adult
us?
enough for a team. Like, okay, like that makes me say like I want to
crack
blow.
one of these?
Yeah, go for
What
it.
do you got here?
I got some Sun Crusher. Well, one more Sun Crusher, and I got
and-
Hell or High Watermelon.
Oh, can I do it?
It's got high in the title. You should probably do it.
Yeah.
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 No, so I want to ask:
That's
do you
almost, yeah.
remember?
That's almost the title backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you remember the first team that you beat the Elite Four with?
First team that I beat the Elite Four with.
Like with your very first game?
Charizard,
Okay.
Raichu.
Mm-hmm.
Because my Raichu was like 100. Because you get Pikachu as like a
Yeah.
buddy, basically.
No, you get the Pikachu as the buddy, and you
Right.
you get gifts of the 3 starters, so you can have all 3 starters.
I want to say Lapras.
Okay.
It
The
was-
ice type.
Yeah.
In that first generation, dual water ice was pretty powerful.
Nido King.
Yeah, because he looked badass.
Yeah. But he didn't from like the behind graphic.
Oh god, he looked horrible.
The actual. And I think Rhyhorn.
Rhydon.
Rhydon, thank you.
That's 5.
It's 5. So there was one.
You're missing a grass type. I assume you had a grass type.
I don't think I did. I think it was like Golem.
What, a golem?
I think it was a Golem.
Okay. You want a little rock heavy? That's fine.
Yeah, it was a little rock heavy. But I always liked Brock in the anime.
Well, there you go.
And I also think that was just so cool that he had mons that could move Earth. And I was like, that's perfect. Like, there was an episode where, like, if someone's trapped in a tunnel or trapped in a fucking hole, I got an Onyx. Let's dig a tunnel straight up and, like, we'll just crawl out.
See,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or,
so
like,
you want me
I
to-
have this giant rock Pokemon.
I'm just saying, to blow your mind a little bit.
Go for it.
My first team that I beat the Elite Four with.
Mm-hmm.
Golduck,
That's good. Yeah.
Alakazam.
Okay. Golduck and
That's
Alakazam,
it.
that's it?
The 2 of them.
God damn.
I had elixirs. I had ethers.
But why?
Well, no, it wasn't elixirs. It was
But
ethers.
why?
I just happened.
Why?
My best friend growing up, he had traded me a Kadabra that he liked a lot to turn to Alakazam,
Okay.
and then power up, and then trade back to him,
Right.
for Pokedex completion. And I just started playing with my Golduck was my favorite because I want to say like I had. I want to say like he had like Surf, Psybeam, Mega Kick, and something else I can't think of right now. But he had a good selection, and like Alakazam also had some pretty solid attacks, and
it has your name in it.
there's that. Well, it wasn't yet at that point, but actually no, yeah, I had started going by that a little bit at that point.
Yeah.
No,
Sounds great.
but yeah, no, it just turned out that way. Like I was raising this Alakazam, and it was because the trade, it was like getting powerful so much quicker. So I just used my Golduck alongside it, and I had the 2 of them were up at like I had them at like level 85, they were both at like level 85 at the time that I went in on the Elite Four, and I beat the Elite Four with just those two.
That's insane.
And I cranked them both up to level 100, and I just beat the Elite Four a ton.
Have you ever fucked up and not saved before going up against a legendary battle and losing? Or have you
back in the day, or like
when it was like regular batteries? Did your batteries just ever die on you at crucial moments?
Oh god, yeah.
That was the worst. That was the worst.
I'd had like the batteries had died because like I'd fallen asleep playing.
Oh.
Like I'd fallen asleep playing as a kid, and that one was the worst when not when it was like the legitimate battery ones, because my parents would know if I was up if I had my light on, to play, because you need the light because there's no backlighting.
Did you ever get the attachment with the light though?
No.
That like extra screen, bigger.
Nah, I didn't get that. No. But when I did eventually get Game Boy Advance, my first Advance did not have the backlighting. My SP had a backlighting, the little foldy one. Like that had a backlight. That was the first generation where I started falling asleep playing.
Yeah.
Because I had the backlight, and I would be holding and playing my copy of be Ruby and Sapphire, would have been that at that point, and then Fire Red, Leaf Green. Though I think I only had Fire Red.
Awesome.
But since then, actually, that's starting in the third generation. I started buying both copies, both or all three copies of anything that's come out. And because of that, like in playing, obviously 2 copies, like 2+ run-throughs of every game, I started doing a thing where once I've beaten a game, based on the generation, I've started coming up with theme teams. And I'll explain that. I have a random idea, and I decide, okay, this is the theme I'm going to go with. I have to think about what Pokemon fit this theme, and like I'll build a list and like pare it down, or sometimes like I literally can barely fill out the list, and that's like my theme. And so what I do is I take one copy of the game, through trading and breeding, I get exactly what I want, hatch them all, throw them into the Pokemon box storage system, and then as soon as the first time in the next game that you're available to access the storage box,
right,
go in, drop the starter, and bring in the 6 for the team that I've created and crafted.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first successful one was my Game of Thrones team.
Okay.
I named my character. It was a copy of Y, Pokemon Y, and it was I named myself Rhaegar Targaryen.
There you go.
So I did the entire game with a dragon team. I imported them all at level 1, and I even started off real rough with them, because I took all of them. I went down into the bottom of the game, into the beginning city, to take on like your level 2 or 3 Rattata, Pidgeys,
worked it all the way
Talos, whatever. Oh, no, it took until the 5th one. The first 4 got knocked out. The 5th one was the one that survived enough to knock out the level 2 or 3 crappy little thing.
Jess is going to be so jealous that she's not here for this conversation, because like me and her, when we first started dating, we would just sit back for hours and just talk about the different Pokemon experiences we had, and like talking about getting like a system link cord for the first time.
Oh my god, the system
cord. And
cord.
like being on the bus and being able to like battle on the way to school or something.
Well, dude, when you had
it became a social rink.
Dude, when they started, when you had the Game Boy Colors and they started with the infrared sensors, that never worked.
Oh, not at all.
I don't think I was ever. I think I once had a trade happen, but I never once had a battle that was able to succeed, because you had to they'd be perfectly set in angles, so you had to prop them up on things. No, it was fucking terrible.
It was pretty nuts.
Thank God for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no joke.
Or for the fact that even without Wi-Fi, I think switches can connect.
I think they can as well, yeah.
I think they can without Wi-Fi, so that's why I'm really pumped for this for the 8th gen.
Oh, the 8th gen's gonna be great, but here's the thing: the Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu that's gonna drop is gonna be so goddamn elementary.
Well, no, but that's the point of it.
But don't tease me.
That's the point.
Don't tease me. It's not.
It's the point.
Don't make an Animal Farm.
I'll say one.
Don't do it.
One, you can pop, like, for those of us who have played for forever and don't want to deal with the bullshit of, like,
the whole game's bullshit.
It's a redo of Red and Blue.
I know, but
it's bringing a new generation back to the roots by bringing in.
Like Animal Farm.
But you're also bringing. Like, are you talking about Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
Like, it's Animal Farm is about, like, the animals.
I hated that game so much I didn't even remember its name.
Like, Animal Farm's about communism.
Animal Farm, whatever. Yeah, you're right.
No, it's Animal Crossing.
What was that?
Why do you make all the noises?
I don't even know what that was.
It was just an alert from your laptop, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, but no.
All right, fair enough.
Visual. Okay, whatever. But it's about taking. So you have this entire generation of kids who've never played actual Pokemon games, but they've all been introduced over the past 2 years to Pokemon Go, which is quick and easy and casual. Is to be able to blend the two concepts to get them pumped so that they can sell the shit out of Gen 8.
It's not. You don't even battle, really. Like, you catch your. Like, you see the Pokemon.
You don't even battle, really, in Pokemon Go. I'm sorry. Do you know how many purists?
You don't at all. Really.
I'm saying, you know how many purists trashed Pokemon Go when it came out? Because it didn't have a battling system. There was no weakening. You just threw the Pokeball and you got it. They called it the participation trophy of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like it was widely trashed. But then, realizing that it's fun and social, well, actually, that probably kept most of them in their basements. But
right,
because that's who was the one trashing
spoofing. I hate spoofing so bad. And for those of you listening, spoofing is when somebody who has the Pokemon app also downloads a secondary app that basically gives you a joystick, or you're able to put in some kind of coordinates. So if you live in bumblefuck nowhere and you're trying to... You can't really play the game because there's not a lot to do, and I get that. And so spoofing became a thing for people like that. And you could go to downtown Chicago from your middle of nowhere town, and you can play in a really heavy, congested area for Pokemon. But there's other people who take that concept and they're kind of just dicks about it.
Well, yeah, because they use it to power game.
And for those of you listening who don't give a flying fuck about this in conversation at all, hear me out here. When Pokemon Go came out, okay, there were 1,000 people at any given corner catching a virtual AR piece of code. Like, this is insane, but it's still going. Like, when I mentioned beer number 3 of the pod, when I mentioned the communities of Pokemon Go on the YouTube people, like the people, like when we went to that YouTube channel thing, there was fucking 1,500 people just waiting. Those tickets for Pokemon Go Fest sold out in like 30 seconds. Yep. And it was like 70,000 people or some shit over 2 days. Normally it's 1 day, and they do it all over the world.
The people who are about the community, they're about the experience of going out and playing and experience it with others.
It was beautiful the first time we went to the beach for the first night of Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
there was 1,500 people. I know I just said 1,000, but like when you think about it,
I mean, to be fully realistic,
roughly
it
up
was
and down the beach. The first week was insane.
I mean, but to be fully realistic, it was probably
300-400.
It was like 300 or 400 people.
300-400 minimum.
But it was 300 to 400 people every night for like a month.
Every night, and also what people don't realize is the way Chicago streets like end along the lake. There's a new beach every block, basically. Yeah. So like,
but I mean, the Pratt hotspots was
Pratt, though.
You had the 4 practically completely overlapping stops. If you got the right spot to squat down on, you didn't even have to move. Like, you were catching 100 Pokemon a night without having to move a step. And
it was like a neighborhood watch, because you would see a group of people walking up to you, but they're all on their fucking phones. And they're all like, hey, you guys playing Pokemon? There's a Growlithe at the market down the street. Have fun, be safe.
I found there was a, in one of the when somebody had dropped a lure, like in one of the further spots. So, you know the double spot that's a little further north on the benches?
Yes.
Someone had dropped one where a Gyarados had popped up, like in the early days. And this is like, things were starting to fade, but there were still probably like almost 100 people.
Roughly, yeah.
I literally like started walking back and like just telling, like just shouting over, it's like, hey guys, Gyarados at the lure. And like I didn't try catching it at first. I literally just held up my phone so everybody saw that it was there.
Yeah.
Like just walking back, and people started running.
Yeah, it's chaos.
Well, it's also like, I mean, that was at a point when nothing ever really popped up with frequency unless you were at a spot like that. So like being able to find anything that took a lot of candy, like a Gyarados, like from the Magikarp,
right?
You know, it was a miracle. Like, oh, and in the wild Gyarados, yeah, no, and in the wild Aerodactyl, like, yeah, that didn't happen.
I was at the beach and we had a wild Blastoise, and people were running into the water. And you were there with me that night, weren't you?
I stood in the water because I was wearing my water shoes.
I was not wearing water shoes. I was able to get it on the beach, though. But there was people just flocking to that pinpoint. Yeah. It was insane.
Well, yeah, because like, it was the starters were super rare at that point. Like, which, God, I'm being screwed on Gen 2 starters right now. I had to trade. I traded to get a Cyndaquil.
Okay.
Maybe that's why my Cyndaquil wasn't available, because I'd already traded for it.
I got some Cyndaquils while I was in Arizona.
Well, no,
we were able to get.
I got very lucky during. I got very lucky during the Gen 2 event.
Yeah.
Like when that popped off, and I was seeing Cyndaquils, Totodiles, and Chikoritas around. Which is lucky because like I had already walked. I had like 45 kilometers with my Totodile, and I still was only at like 18 candy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. It's then eventually I caught a Crocodile. So I've got that guy sitting down, but because I'm walking with my Chikorita now because I believe in walking in the order of the number. So like I was walking with Gen 1 stuff that I needed Gen 2 evolutions for.
Oh yeah.
So like I walked with a Horsey for like 3 months.
No shit. When I was in Louisville, I worked at a forklift job, and so I found we had this spot where you could put your radar gun. We had these little radar guns to scan barcodes so you could find out where the cargo's going to the next door. And the way it sat in there was this piece of foam at the bottom so you don't throw it in there and break the glass. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that if I cut the foam just right, I could turn it into a foam stand, because you weren't allowed to have phones at all. That was a fucking no-no, right?
Well, of course not. You're operating heavy machinery.
Right. And I'm not saying that I ever put my phone in the slot, but just so it wasn't in my pockets, okay? So it wasn't in my pockets. I was able to put it down in that slot where it's away from me and I'm not sitting on it or it's not falling out of my pockets. So I made a makeshift phone case holder in my lift, and I would just maybe once in a while turn on Pokemon Go and flip the screen around to where it would just go into rest, but it would still keep going.
So you were just walking, acquiring your kilometers.
All day. From like 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was just driving around this like 1 mile stretch, going anywhere from 7 to 5 miles an hour, but I could also kick it up to 13 at max. And
13 that still registers for the...
Oh, it was beautiful, dude. That's the only way I was able to catch up, because there was a time where you were walking around, but what you did at the early stage that I regret not doing was you were investing in incubators, which are a way for those of you who are listening who don't play this game. You get these eggs and you get 9 slots, okay? You get eggs from various ways, but these eggs hatch a Pokemon. Now, Pokemon have this thing called IV, which is a more impressive lockdown on their specs. It really tells you it counts, but it doesn't. But let me just keep going with it so we don't stay on the topic for too long. He would purchase the coin or earn the coin to get these incubators to put them in and hatch all these eggs fast. Now, what the eggs allow you to do are get more rarer Mons faster, and the way to level up your Mon once you have one is to get more of them, or to now put them as your buddy. That's a whole nother story. But you had such an impressive list out the gate. Like, there would be times where we ran into each other and I was like, how's your pogo? And you're like, yeah, look. And I'm like, Jesus, oh my God.
Yeah, no, it was solid. Like when you're doing a lot, like when
you were walking
getting a lot of hatching.
Mad.
Yeah. Well, it's like I had a couple times I had gone down to Lincoln Park Zoo to walk around. But yeah, if you're running 9 incubators for Pokemon simultaneously, like that's 9 Pokemon coming in. I'm down to 3 right now just because I had a bunch of hatches pop before I with no stops.
Right. I haven't put any money into it recently, and right now on the Selby challenge.
Oh, I did it so long ago, and like I occasionally I've just been randomly dropping some of my top guys in gyms. Like I'm earning like 50 coins. Like I'm usually getting like 50 coins every day or so.
Well, it sucks that they put a level cap on the coins, though. Like, didn't they?
I have no idea.
You can only get 50 every so often. Like, you can't drop in like 12 Pokemon at a time. And
I have no idea. I think it's you can only get so many from each one.
I thought you can only earn so much a day.
Because it's like so they get knocked out. Like you don't earn per day. Like you get the coins after they've been knocked out.
True.
And I think there's a cap as to how many coins they can earn when they're sitting in the gym. But you, I honestly, I've gotten coins from every time that I've had one knocked out and sent back to me.
Did Jay ever tell you about his experience dropping a Pokemon in a gym that was in a small town? So Jay was traveling back from
this.
One of the
This was back
Carolinas.
when it would constantly accrue.
Kind of. Basically, what happened was
We just hit collect on it.
Well, he was in the middle of nowhere, and he beat down a gym that only had like 3 mons in it, and he put in like a T-Tar that was fucking level like 3,000 or some shit, and was like, I'm just gonna leave this here, right? And,
It's funny you brought that up because I've just been powering up mine.
Oh, nice. But he ended up leaving this T-Tar there, and by leaving it there, he didn't get it for like 9 weeks or some shit. Like, it was forever. It just stayed there, and he could never use it. He's like, I felt so bad for just dropping it there. But they, like, praised it, man. They brought this T-Tar grapes and, like, fanned him with vines. It was nuts. Big leaves.
Yeah. No, and for those of you with Tyler saying T-Tar, is Tyranitar.
Sorry, I get mixed up in the lingo sometimes.
Tyranitar is ground and dark type from the second generation. If you played way back in the day, you would have been familiar with Dratini and then its eventual evolution Dragonite. This was basically the Dragonite of Generation 2. And then they started with further generations making multiple sets. Because, Flygon, Salamence, and Metagross are all the Dragonite of Gen 3.
True.
Anything that is not acquirable from its low evolution until later in the game, I would consider to be of that type. And in the further generations, they kind of went up and down with kind of how they did with that. The best example I think I can truly think of when they really brought it back, and they loved doing it with dragons, was Axew from Black and White.
Yeah.
It was a pure dragon type, which not really much of the triple evolutions for pure dragon for a while, because it was Axew, Fracture, and Haxorus. It takes you forever to get a fucking Axew. You have to wait for forever till you get one in that game, and that game takes a while. That's actually, I can say Pokemon Black and White is the only Pokemon game that I have not actually played through to completion.
So Pokemon Black and White, I don't even know if I played it, to be completely honest. There was a time where I ended up just kind of ditching Pokemon just because life, and all my Game Boys I ended up having to pass down because I'm the oldest of 4 boys and 2 girls.
Yep.
So my brothers got all my Christmas presents eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, just for example, though, she has all of her old games. She still has her cartridges. She still has her original teams. She's got it all. And
probably the internal batteries destroys those eventually.
Eventually, but she doesn't keep the batteries in them. We put fresh batteries every time we kind of jump back onto them. But some of them that have to recharge.
Into the cartridges.
Oh yeah.
No, my Pokemon Blue eventually, and actually I don't know if I have my Blue anymore, but I had my Silver.
Yeah.
I have my copy of Silver.
Sucks that there's no way to.
And the
you know what I'm saying?
Well, they eventually I think did create a way, but it's so
just a USB.
It's so bad. No, it's they did talk there was eventually a way to get some of your original generation games, Pokemon put through, but it was such a roundabout way. I know my copy of Blue got destroyed because of the back in the day of the Missing No hack. I was someone who did that. I did the Missing No hack to get all the items. Then my Silver, I didn't do anything like that, but it was just so old and just not used for so long that I put it back. I tossed it back in at one point, and it was just like nothing I had there was there anymore.
No shit.
It was just a restart of the game, and like because I just found an old Game Boy and some batteries, and I started playing it again, and like a couple weeks later, I pulled it up again, and it was again a fresh game. Like it was the internal battery inside the cartridge had died because it was almost 20 years old.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's
so
heavy.
so the save game was gone at that point. But I mean, also like it was old enough, and then like at that point, Heart Gold and Soul Silver had come out, which I had a copy of Heart Gold, like, and then I'd actually looked into getting a used copy like later of like a Soul Silver or something to like kind of restart because I wanted to like play the game again, but I didn't want to restart and lose everything I had in Heart Gold.
Right.
And found out like that copies were going for like $80.
Was there a point in one of the games where you could get it on a plane?
Nope.
No. For some reason, I have this memory
No
of like,
airports.
For some reason, I have this memory of like seeing something for Black or Black and White 2.
Black 2 and White 2 had trains.
Was it trains?
They had some trains, and you could take some trains from one like a hub city into like a couple different areas.
You can't take but you can't go from one.
There was
in
Black and White. There was an airport, but you couldn't take a. You couldn't take a
maybe
plane.
that's what it was.
It was. I
remember thinking like, "Oh my god, that's genius!" If they have a way to,
it was like
fly
Nimbasa City or something like that.
But here's the thing, man.
No, there's always been those rumors. There's always been those rumors.
Is it like a Mandela effect or some shit that I heard?
No. There have been rumors with almost every generation that there's going to be, because of the way that Gold and Silver work, where you beat the game and then all of a sudden you went back to Kanto.
Right.
Is that there would be a situation where you could then travel and go back to an old spot. Like there's always been those rumors, but there's so much code that goes into the games now that they can't do it. There's the possibility with the next generation for the Switch, but the problem with that in lies the fact that they're going to be doing so much graphically.
So then my question is like, okay, what is your ultimate what would you want out of, like, they come to you, Nintendo says, Zam, make a Pokemon game, make it for your generation, make sure you give the fan everything they want.
It's the Pokemon MMORPG.
So like, just pitch it to me. Like, just come on, give me your elevator.
Dude, I've had this dream for,
all right,
for 15 years. If you've had this
dream, man, this is your time to say it. What if it got into the ears of somebody?
No, it's no, I guarantee you, it's like the idea's been out there. I'm in the middle of pitching it. Like It's an idea that easily has been out there because I started thinking about it not super long after WoW became a thing. When you had when MMOs started really coming out and being a thing, the idea was like to take the experience, which eventually did kind of start to happen with Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Which involves the like everybody out there in a world type thing, like in an open source world. So like you have like. The biggest problem is could only work basically on PC because you need that kind of computing power.
All right.
You have the open world, and then you have just like WoW. Like your character drops in your chosen starting city. You don't start. Not everybody starts in Palatown. It's like WoW. When in WoW, like when you choose your race, you start in a different starting city, and you start out from there. And like you're from that world, or like, and then you have the portals to everything else and whatnot. But you start off like, let's say if it's just, if it's just for Kanto, if it's just the original generation set, you drop in. So like for you would have started in Pewter City. You drop in Pewter City, you get your choice of, like you basically would have to be given like a Geodude, like you're given like a rock type to start off. Like you would have to start off with the type from the city that you start in. So like if you're starting in Palatown, you would get like a normal or something. Viridian, you start with some grass types, such like that. And then you go out and you explore the world in like not a preset order, because that's not how MMOs work. Like you're not a preset order, but it's like just an open world, free form, almost like how the anime was, where you like explore. Like you're not cut down to just the specific paths. If you want to trek through the forests and across the mountains to like go straight from Viridian City to not Viridian. I keep saying from God, what's the second town?
The second town. It's not Cerulean. That's
it's
third.
Palette. It's Palette, Blank, Pewter, Cerulean. Viridian was the grass gym. I'm hating myself for not thinking of this right now because it was where Giovanni's gym was at.
Shit, I don't remember either. But, I'll go in and I'll add it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, the place is.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Then, so that. But like, so like you could go from like that city, and then trek through the river, like across rivers, across the mountains, through the forest, and go like straight across to like to Vermilion. You know, like you take that way. You don't have to go all the way down, up and around, like and follow this path, and then backtrack through Mount Moon, and like making Mount Moon an actual thing. Like that, you need to like fight and power your way up the mountain to the crater, and that's where you find like the rare stuff, and like you have like events and like stuff like that. It's like creating the world in real world size is the biggest key of it. Like, and that's how you can get people in. Like, and you can have on like individual servers, you can have thousands of people playing. Like, and then like having the ability that you start establishing yourself in different ways, like with the amount of money that you make in the game. Like, okay, so you are like legitimately the most powerful and influential trainer, or you know, the richest, whatever. You know, you've dropped the most coin on the in-game currency, but you have the ability to like buy property in a town, and like you set up like a house.
So like a virtual Sims or some shit.
Yeah, like it's like a Sims, like you set up like it, like literally making it like fucking real world kind of shit. Like the fully immersed experience. Like you buy a property. It's like, yeah, okay, you got a little shack, you know, at first. Then you go out and you battle. But see, like you go out and you battle and you earn more money, and you come back in, and that's how you improve yourself. Like it's like combining all that, even to the point where you have the ability to be in an actual gym. Maybe not a gym leader, but in a gym.
Why not also give you the power to take over the Pokemon and like give you those kick-ass graphics? Like we just had Pokemon token tournament or whatever. Like that was fucking
I love that game.
Amazing. It's amazing. Did you know that the guy who won the Worlds this year was from Oak Park?
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get him on the
Do
pod.
you know what Pokemon he used? Did he switch up, or did he have the same standard one?
For that fight, he had a Sceptile, I want to say it is. That's
okay, Sceptile's decent. Yeah.
But he was going up against a Gengar from some dude from Japan.
Okay.
And it was interesting. Really interesting. But he won it in like the final minutes, dude. Like it was beautiful.
I have yet to... I used Decidueye.
Okay.
And I have yet to have experienced a loss in the one player. I haven't done multiplayer yet online.
Man, when I get a Switch... Is it on Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when I get a Switch, because
DX.
we are.
DXs.
Ooh, we should.
Like so, because and they just let's see, Aegislash and Blastoise just came in on it.
Really?
Well, I bought the DLC.
Nice.
But yeah, Aegislash and Blastoise just became in as playable. But all I know is like using Decidueye, I have. I mean, I played a one-on-one fight with somebody, like we're three bonds each.
At like a GameStop or something?
No, just a friend.
Oh, nice.
A friend to come over playing, because I don't have a lot of multiplayer stuff for my Switch,
right.
Which is why I pre-ordered the Mario Party.
Nice.
I was like, well, it's at least a fucking multiplayer, because like for multiplayer style, like I pretty much have. Well, I've got WWE 2K18, which is laggy as shit.
I was gonna say, how's that on Nintendo? Nintendo's never been good
It's fine.
Games,
well, it's fine. The
like
problem is
tennis.
the problem is it's super laggy. Like
Yeah.
especially when you get into like tag team matches, it's incredibly laggy. Like graphics wise, everything's fine. Like I'm holding portable. Like I've got the guy I created, Z the Human Cyclone.
Nice. That's a good wrestling name, man.
No, it's yeah. Well, I think I like more so like customizing the wrestlers and their looks and tattoos and everything like that versus like the actual like playing. Because I mean, you wind up against scrubs like when you're like such a low level, and then they immediately start throwing you up against guys that you have no chance against. I got put into a battle royal with Mark Henry.
Damn.
Yeah, I created a light heavyweight. My guy's like 6'1", like 215, and I was up against like 6'8", 350-pound Mark Henry in this battle royal.
Gee, Merry Christmas.
And in order to complete and go on to the next task, because this was like a story mode thing,
Right.
I had to win the battle royal.
No shit.
It's like taking out Mark Henry, like in that, like I had to basically set myself aside and hope and pray that somebody else took him out. It's like, yeah, I'll take you on, Curtis Axel. Please, somebody else take care of Mark Henry.
Who's your favorite wrestler? I mean, because okay, let me do this. Two part. What's your favorite Pokemon to wrap that up? Okay,
Yep.
Just like really like.
Oof.
I know it's tough.
That's
and
tougher.
There's a lot.
That's
but,
the toughest.
But just give me like one of your top 5. It doesn't even have to be your top 5. Or you know what? That's fine. Top 5 Pokemon and top 5 favorite wrestler.
All right. God, I wish I'd you messaged me this question beforehand.
Dude, I didn't even call you last night. I got a hold of you 20 minutes before we were doing this.
I wish you. No, I'm saying I wish you
I'm
could come with this
sorry about
question
that.
so I could have thought about it on my walk over.
I know. I didn't give you time. I'm sorry.
The wrestler one, that one's not going to be a problem.
Cool.
There's the Pokemon one, dude. There's 700 to choose from.
Yeah.
I've got different favorites from like different generations, like ones that hold places in my heart for different reasons.
Top 3 childhood, top 3 adult.
No, like I'm
That
saying,
gives
like,
you a team
it
of
all
6.
it all ties in together.
Right, that gives you a team of 6 though.
But in like, there's going to be no particular order. I from actually Sun and Moon, I came to really, really like Decidueye.
Okay.
I like the look. I like the combination of grass and ghost. I like having the grass flying right away, like off the bat with that. I thought that one was pretty sweet
Okay.
to roll with. That guy's not happy.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. You know what? Because he was my first starter ever, I'm gonna go Blastoise.
There you go.
Blastoise is my first starter ever, so that's always gonna have a special place.
So, to go along with you real quick,
Yeah.
I would do Porygon Z, or I'm sorry, Porygon 2,
Yeah.
as like one of my reliable ones, and I'd do Charizard. So, 2 for 2. What else you
Yeah.
got for me?
When I eventually was able to get him, I like the power that, like in the metagaming, apparently he's trashed pretty hard. But Dusknoir,
Dusknoir's awesome.
I like Dusknoir's look. I had one when I eventually got it. He had mine had Shadow Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, and Ice Punch. I just went with all the punching attacks on him, which then probably leads to from like the Gen 1, like Hitmonchan. I always liked Hitmonchan.
Hitmonchan's dope.
Yeah, there was something about him that made me like him.
I'm a big fan of Shiny Alakazam Mega Evolution. That's the only time I get
super. That's super specific.
That's super specific, but with Shiny Alakazam, it's more of a pink exterior, and I always thought the pink shinies were really cool. And it's also like this old man Doctor Strange vibe when he's crossing his legs and he's levitating.
Yeah.
And he's got like 6 extra hands. That's
Spoons.
Spoons, my apologies. It's fucking awesome.
And then I could probably, and this is actually both from X and Y. I fell in love with both of these guys. Howlucha,
I like Hawlucha.
which will tie into the wrestling thing because he's a luchador Pokemon. The only possessor of the only dual type attack in the history of Pokemon. Flying Press was both a flying and fighting type attack,
No shit.
which is why my Hawlucha wrecked. When Jay and I had a battle like a couple times at the O, I put in my Hawlucha every time, and my Hawlucha annihilated everything he put against me to the point where he was like, this just isn't fun. And then also from there, Dragalge. Dragalge, the evolved form of Skrelp, is a poison dragon that looks like a sea dragon. You know, like the specific like species of seahorse known as the sea dragon. That's got a lot more like kind of flowing fin stuff. That's for the viewers. I know you know who Dragalge is.
I think I'm going to do something with this pod that I've never done before. I think I'm going to throw up pictures because it's easier to...
I'd say do it.
I'm going to throw up pictures because it's easier to see.
Oh yeah, it's also just fun to put up like fan art of Pokemon.
Yeah. I've been respectful. I don't want to show off anyone's fan art. Doesn't want to be involved. It's weird, man. This pod is like it's making me question a lot of things before I do it, which is not me. You know what I mean?
Well, it's something you're putting out in public.
Yeah.
Like when you're putting stuff out in public, you want to make sure that you're paying the proper respects.
Yeah.
No, which
Absolutely, man.
to that.
But you're always trying to like show respect to people. You know what I'm saying?
See, now wrestling. So what's fun about this is I actually had a similar discussion a couple of days ago, which is why I'm able to like pull down a list pretty easily.
Go for it.
My favorite wrestler right now is actually on the indie scene.
Okay.
He wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
He is a member of the Bullet Club. The villain Marty Scurll.
Marty Scurll.
The villain Marty Scurll. This dude is fun. Like he at All In, the indie show that they just did in Chicago a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Like the fastest and biggest indie show that's ever been done. And it was produced by the Bullet Club.
All right.
Who are basically like an NWO type faction in indie wrestling. His match, he was up against Kota Ibushi, the Rainmaker, like a guy who's usually put out there as the number one wrestler in the world.
Wow.
And he went in a match against him. Marty Scurll is like 5'11" and like 195. Kota Ibushi is like 6'4", like 250, pure sculpted muscle. Like they put on an insanely awesome match. Like I actually kind of want to like I was because of talking about it the other just the other day. I'm probably gonna go home and watch it again.
Yeah.
Number 2, also an independent wrestler, who just rumors are that he and his brother just signed on to the WWE developmental brand NXT.
Yeah.
His name is Pentagon Jr.
All right.
He
Son
has
of Pentagon Senior, of course.
clearly. He's also like had his name changed to like Pentagon Dark or Pentagon Z or Pentagon Zero, because his whole thing is his like tagline is Cero Miedo.
All right.
Zero fear. And he had an insane match against Kenny Omega at All In, and Kenny Omega is like also tossed in the ring. His head like is talked about as being the best wrestler in the world. Like him and Ibushi, like it kind of like trades back and forth depending who you talk to. And they're both on the indie scene. Neither of them wrestle for Vince McMahon.
Okay.
But like Pentagon, like he's got this. He's a luchador, but he's also got like a power style that is really well done, and like he's fun to watch in the ring. He's got all the shit that he does. His biggest thing is because his whole no fear. It's a signing. He literally goes Cero Miedo, and like the whole crowd is always shouting it along with him. He does it in his opponent's faces when he's taking like a hard shot. Like Kenny Omega hits him with one of his signature moves on the ring apron, and he like falls back and like rings up Cero Miedo right in his face.
Okay.
And like does it a couple times, like as he's getting rocked in the face with like these running shin kicks.
Now what's this league? Is he in
New Japan
NXT now or what,
no?
where's he at now?
He supposedly has signed with it. It's kind of a rumor type thing. He was most recently wrestling for Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground. He's also been a part of like one or two other like things. Like the nice thing is with the indie scenes, they do a lot of crossover with each other. Like Lucha Underground is like it's really presented more as a show with a rolling storyline. So that's a little harder to like kind of do as like crossing over with other promotions. But like Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and somebody else who like one or two others that I can't think of that were all a part of All In. They all kind of do crossing over with each other. Like the wrestlers will work for like the different promotions. The Young Bucks, a tag team that are mostly New Japan, they at one point were held 3 or 4 different tag team titles simultaneously from different promotions.
Are those more like ECW though, or are those more?
No, they're like just different small productions that have been getting. Like, there's just a lot of guys who are out there who like to have creative control of their characters, and they like to personally control what they do when they're out there.
How do you feel Triple H is doing?
When he takes over everything, it's going to be amazing.
You think so?
No, there's already rumors that when Vince McMahon leaves the day-to-day operations to run the XFL, when he restarts it in a year and a half, that Triple H is being told control is being ceded to Triple H. And there are rumors that he is, one, going to blow the doors open for independent wrestlers. Like, he will literally, like, just roll out the red carpet and be like, come in. Like, and then even talks about doing crossover matches where they won't have to sign with WWE. Like, they, like, won't need to sign, but they'll just, like, sign contracts to come in and do, like, specific pay-per-views or shows. Like, they won't be under contract with WWE, but they'll come in and do a show.
No shit.
Type thing. Like, that. There's rumors that he's going to, like, have that kind of shit set up. That there's already, like, being talked about with Daniel Bryan about setting that up in his contract to do one-on-one matches for, like, indie wrestlers to show up on SmackDown to do matches with Bryan in an open challenge type format. So there's everything is pointing that when he gets control, that everything is going to just get better. Because Vince also, like, when he has an opinion of a wrestler, that's when somebody's booking tanks. Right. Which leads me to my third favorite wrestler, Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Who is in WWE, but was originally the founder of the Bullet Club when he was a part of New Japan Wrestling. Finn got a big push when he came out of the developmental NXT. He came out of there, and he became the first on Raw Universal Champion. Like, he won it in his first pay-per-view.
Okay.
But he got he had a bad injury in that match, so he had to cede the title away the next day on Raw.
How did he get hurt?
I think it was a buckle bomb from Seth Rollins.
The fuck is a buckle bomb?
Buckle bomb is a power bomb where instead of slamming to the ground, the guy is thrown into the top buckle in the corner.
Huh.
And there, it's also why Seth actually went away from using that move for a while, because there was a couple if the guy receiving it doesn't take it exactly right, like, there's a lot of chance for injury.
Oh, I'm sure.
And Balor I think he, like, broke his arm or something.
Wow.
It was it was a broken arm, but he got injured in that match to the point where they couldn't even fake him still wrestling. So they had to cede his championship away, and when that happened, Vince never gave him a shot again. He has not had a title on him since.
No shit.
Since he's come back from his injury. And he is one of the most over wrestlers in the WWE. He is, like, one of the most beloved wrestlers in the promotion, and he gets nothing because Vince doesn't like him.
Isn't it weird to think that Vince also chose what would eventually become the president to have a hair match with? Like, Vince is I know, but I'm just saying, arguably, Vince is one of the best promoters to ever walk the planet.
No, he is.
He is. I have his book up on the shelf there, Sex, Lies, and Headlocks.
I say he's a great promoter, but the problem is a lot of his ideas and concepts are rooted back into recreating things that he did 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Like, that's actually something that's going on right now.
What are some main plots? You keeping up?
Oh yeah,
I haven't kept up in a minute. What's the hot news?
So I was out for decades, and then
same. I'm still in it.
And then back last fall, I got back into it, and I've been caught up ever since.
Do you have cable, or do you just watch?
No, I watch on the Watch Wrestling website.
Cool.
It's like they provide live streams for literally everything with wrestling: New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, WWE, like Lucha Underground, everything.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah. You know, like, if it's an older episode, yeah, it's been taken down due to, streaming rights.
Right.
Because they're in no way, shape, or form is that they're illegally. But no, some big storylines. One that just completed was Brock Lesnar was never showing up, except for pay-per-views, to have matches against Roman Reigns. And everybody got really fucking sick of it.
Lesnar's crazy.
Yeah.
Lesnar's
he's also a lazy wrestler.
Is he?
Yes. No, it's been multiple wrestlers have said like
but I thought that's like his thing. He's the behemoth. He's like slow and like when he gets you, he's gonna.
Well, that was like an early thing.
He would be the best fucking Bane.
Possibly.
If you did the same thing, you just threw a mask on him and like you just didn't let him speak.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They don't let him speak because.
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing.
Luchador mask.
Well, no,
he can do it.
No, here's the problem. So after
Rock?
Lesnar got fame in like he started making like a name for himself in the UFC.
Yeah.
He got an attitude of like WWE because it's because wrestling is scripted. Oh my god, I broke the rules for everybody.
But because like everyone else says who actually does it, fall off a 10-foot ladder.
But no, I'm saying
I know. Jump off there, see how it feels.
But exactly. But no, like when he came back in, there was a couple of years ago, Dean Ambrose was quoted as this. Dean Ambrose, like I said, like the two of them had a championship match against each other at a pay-per-view. And Ambrose came to Lesnar with all these ideas, like, man, we do this, like stuff we can do, like, and Lesnar's like, yeah, no. And like just did the most basic, simple stuff. Did like his like basic like 5 or 6 top moves a couple times.
He treated it like a video game. He didn't get spicy.
No, he treated and he did like nothing.
Wow.
He just said, no, we're gonna do what I say.
What goddamn shame.
That's what he is, and everybody recognizes him as being lazy because he's contracted on Raw, but he never showed up on Raw because he was doing other things, and they let him because Vince loved him. And still loves him, but Vince woke up at Money in the Bank.
Which Money in the Bank? How many years?
This year.
This year? Okay.
This year.
How do you wake up?
So Money in the Bank headlining match was the third. It was the third Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar title match this year. Not just total, but this year.
All right.
It was the third time that they had faced each other in a fucking title match. It might have been the fourth actually. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying calendar year, I'm saying 2018. And this was June. Meaning 4 out of, like 3 or 4 out of 6 pay-per-views, it was the headlining match was the two of them. The fans were sick of it.
Right.
Like, because Roman Reigns was no longer over, and Lesnar was a champion who never showed up, but kept his title.
Kind of like McGregor. Like, he never fights, but he's the champion.
So, they, like, at Money in the Bank, before and during the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match, the audience started walking out of the stadium. Televised, like recorded on TV, you see fans even up in the front rows getting out of their seats and going home.
No shit.
Vince saw this, and apparently, like the rumors were backstage. He's like, "This changes things," because in his mind, like Lesnar Reigns was his headlining match every pay-per-view because it was amazing and he loved it because they're his guys. They're his 2 top guys and they're facing each other. So that means everybody's going to love it.
That reminds me
He woke up to nobody loving it anymore.
Right.
So the next time Reigns and Lesnar faced each other, which was at SummerSlam. No, wait, no, SummerSlam's coming. No, Hell in the Cell's next. At SummerSlam, Lesnar dropped the title to Reigns.
No shit.
Because Reigns is there every week. Now, unfortunately, we might have the exact same scenario happen where Roman Reigns has the title and no one wants him to for a long-ass time because all the rumors are pointing to them trying to get The Rock back.
Are they still?
Because they're cousins.
But here's the thing: are they still doing goofy fucking storylines, like side stories? Are they still wacky?
They do occasionally.
I will say one of the best storylines I've ever seen them do was Kane. Kane's been through so many iterations.
Are you talking about the corporate Kane when he had to serve hot dogs?
No, I'm talking like creepy Kane when he was there a corporate Kane when he had to serve hot dogs?
No, it's corporate Kane. That's what they started calling him when he.
That was like a Kane skin.
He ditched the mask.
Okay.
And he started wearing a suit because he got put in power by the Authority. The Authority being Vince, Triple H, Stephanie.
Oh my God! It's like a comic book,
stuff like that.
That's probably why you gravitate to it.
This is a while ago. This was years ago. They did this storyline, and that was, his nickname was Corporate Kane. But it was
Corporate Kane.
So they had the Authority.
It's like the Hulk in a fucking suit.
Well, they had the Authority, and I think it was like John Cena or it was either John Cena or Daniel Bryan was.
All right.
No, it was Daniel Bryan was their biggest like face that was going against them. And it was a Survivor Series match, if I recall. And the winner of the winning team of the Survivor Series match dictated the fate of the losing team. And like Brian got like big names like came on to be on his team with him, and they're like, we're fighting for you. And I think it was actually Dolph Ziggler wound up winning the match. Like there were 2 or 3 guys left, and he just pulled out some super kicks and the zigzag, and like he wins the match and saves everybody who's the Resistance. And like so the next episode of Raw, they dictate the fate of everybody, which was like little goofy things. And they with Corporate Kane, like there's like Kane, we're actually giving you a promotion. You're now the head of concessions.
Right.
And for like a couple weeks, like literally they did skits where Kane was in front of a table giving people hot dogs and like popcorn and shit. And they did one. This is back when the guy Santino was a part of everything.
Okay.
And he's hanging out with Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And Santino's like, he's like, Mr. Larry, oh, this is my friend Mr. Kane. This is Kane. Like, we'll have 2 hot dogs for us, Mr. Kane. And then like Kane grabs the ketchup and mustard bottles and just squirts all over
so
Santino.
It's still slapstick.
They occasionally do some basic slapstick,
like
but
that kind of ruins Kane for me.
But that's like that part's like 5.
I would have shut the TV off.
That's like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, no, I get.
But remember, it was also Kane's punishment.
Dude, Kane was dope when like. All right, the only thing that I wasn't a fan of was when they did the whole like rape scenario with Lita. Do you?
Oh yeah, that was awful.
That was
that's all Vince.
But
are you kidding me? Dude, are you kidding me?
That was the best fucking like Kane was on fire,
dude. They were talking about Vince tried to put it in a storyline where he wound up being the father of Stephanie's child,
his daughter.
Yeah. Because he's like, this really makes me a heel if that's the story. And they're like, no.
Oh, my God.
I was saying, that's the kind of ideas that Vince had. Vince was the forefront of the bra and panty match.
Yeah, I remember that shit. It's
like,
in the book.
Like the shit, like that was all his ideas. It was when he started getting less control, was when Triple H and Stephanie started legitimizing the women's revolution in wrestling. Well, not wrestling as a whole, because the indie scene, like, they were still respected. But it was inside the biggest promotion in the world. They were relegated to literally kissing Vince McMahon's ass, bra and panty matches, swimsuit competitions. Like they were being completely delegitimized the entire time. Like they're badass wrestlers, like fucking Gail Kim.
Gail Kim was awesome.
Gail Kim was amazing, and she, like, even though like they've made this change and they've made the revolution and the evolution of the brand and style for women's wrestling, they have Evolution, the pay-per-view, the all-women's pay-per-view coming up next month.
No shit.
Yeah. All-women's pay-per-view. And it's going to be fucking amazing. Like, they've got some legends coming back in, like Beth Phoenix.
I heard Trish Stratus was...
Trish Stratus has a match against Alexa Bliss.
Oh, yeah?
A current, like, basically... She's a really good heel. But she's
Alexa Bliss?
Yeah, she's like 5 foot nothing. Right. She's tiny as hell, but she's a really good heel, and like she had a background in bodybuilding.
All right.
Competitions, so like she's got like the look as well.
Well, you got to be so fucking athletic to do some of the moves that these people do, especially the women. Like they have to be almost their agility has to be as high as Rey Mysterio in some sense. Like,
and even more. And he's coming back.
No shit.
Yeah, he's coming back soon. He was in the Royal Rumble this year.
Oh yeah.
And he signed a contract to come back. They're just I think it's October he's starting up.
He loves it, man. Have fun.
Oh no, I think he'd always said he wanted to end his career in WWE, but with him coming back, that's going to time well.
Where's he been?
Indie scene, Lucha Underground, Impact, New Japan. He's just
training people up.
Oh no, he's wrestling.
Oh yeah,
dude. He was he was in the headlining match at All In.
Oh, dude, you got to remember, I don't follow this anymore.
No. That's what I'm telling you. He was in the headlining match. It was him, and 2 other masked wrestlers. Oh God, I feel awful because I'm forgetting both of them right now.
That's fine.
One is Bandito, he's newer, I think. I'm not as familiar with him, and the other guy was I think it was Phoenix. Yeah, Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix,
or Phoenix Jr. or just Phoenix, like that's the brother of Pentagon Jr.
Okay.
Both luchadors.
Oh, nice.
It was the 3 of them in their luchador style versus the Young Bucks from Bullet Club.
Bullet Club.
With I actually don't remember the guy's name, but he's they called themselves the Golden Warriors together. He's a very well respected wrestler with New Japan Wrestling, who was part of a tag team with Kenny Omega, who I mentioned earlier.
Keep it down out there. We're podcasting.
Nobody can hear the beeping.
I know, but I've made it a thing now to where whenever that happens, I'm gonna yell.
Yeah, all right. I mean, fair. But no, Mysterio is like he's coming back, and that should actually probably time out with the debuts of Pentagon and Phoenix. Which I'm kind of sad that like it looks like they're signed to NXT first, because I didn't want to see them premiering in NXT and then being in there. Because when the guys go through NXT, they're usually down there for like a year before they get brought up to like the main roster. Like Pentagon and Phoenix, while they'll probably be the most popular guys that like possibly ever come through NXT, I feel like they're like the level of performer that they should be brought on to the main brands like right the fuck away.
Question: with the other leagues, or not leagues, the other promotions or companies that you follow, what is the craziest match that's come on the scene that you're like, that's a match? Because as the progression of time went with professional wrestling, it was a ladder, it was a chair, it was a table.
I mean, stuff hasn't really gotten crazy extreme. I mean, I also
the Inferno match exists.
In all fairness, like I don't
bring around on fire.
I pay attention to a couple indie wrestlers, but I don't like watch a lot of the indie scene. Like I'm mostly caught up with. I'm like halfway caught through with Lucha Underground.
Has WWE then stepped it up from your notice?
No, they actually stepped back.
Why?
So they what they call the Attitude Era, which led into the PG era, which is the John Cena led era. So it went from like Stone Cold being the face of the company. And then when John Cena became the face of the company, that's when they banned blading.
That's what?
Blading is not allowed anymore. For those of you, blading is when a wrestler either before a match would lightly cut their skin, so an area would bleed and open up later during the match, or if they would have a small razor blade on them the whole time or hidden, that they would then quickly cut themselves with so that they could bleed for during the match to increase the sense of danger and violence.
But some people would take this to a fucking extreme. You have to keep that in mind. Like,
well, also sometimes like the bleeding was just real.
Yeah, sometimes like they didn't mean to fucking
like in the WWE recently outside of a match that happened between. It was Batista and somebody else a few years ago, where they like went off book and got in a lot of trouble. To my knowledge, like any of like the bleeding stuff that's happened a lot recently has just been they've started bleeding.
Right.
The Roman Reigns might have bladed in one of his matches with Brock Lesnar, one of those ones, because he was like a bleeding mess. I feel like he had to have bladed for that one, but. That one might have also been requested because they wanted the match to be really brutal.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a quick one-off scene of like Batista against like Chris Jericho or somebody, some like a seasoned wrestler who can like still hold up his fucking.
I mean, Jericho's still going.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But just put it in like a Guardians of the Galaxy scene. Just like shoot it.
So you're saying is you want to see like another wrestler come in and be like a villain,
like some kind of an alien
that Drax has to fight.
Yeah, that Drax has to fight, and you just let it like for one take. Like these guys are professionals who have done this every Monday night for years. One take, let them just fucking go to town and shoot it from like 6 angles, and be like, guys, you trained for this. We reinforced the ground. The ground is the ring mat. You've done this before. I want suplex. I want like choke slams. I want all of your signature moves.
The problem is like I don't think we'll see it in that type of movie.
Maybe.
Well, I don't think we'll see it in those types of movies because there have been many movies where these guys have done it in the past, like the movie The Rundown.
True.
With The Rock and Sean William Scott.
Right, but The Rock and Sean William Scott aren't trained professional wrestlers who have done it in front of the silver screen.
The Rock is.
Oh yeah, but Sean William Scott is not.
No, but I'm saying William Scott was doing it.
Stifler?
Yes. No, The Rock was doing it against like big, giant, muscular guys. He was pulling some of his signature moves. He did a rock bottom on somebody.
That's true.
There's that. Like it's like so. Like there's
Did he
that.
drop an elbow in one of the flicks? I'm sure he's dropped an elbow by now. He's in every
possibly.
fucking movie.
Like I mean, a lot of guys have done their stuff. Like like you're more likely to see them with like the WWE produced movies.
They make some great flicks, man. See No Evil was pretty decent.
I didn't see that one. There was
See No Evil 2 was alright.
I watched like the only one. I've stomached a couple of them. Like they're not the ones like fully produced by them, but the I don't remember the name of it because I just watched it on Netflix a couple weeks ago. But it was one where Dolph Ziggler was the lead actor, and
Dolph Ziggler
like
fan.
Kane was like his like superior, like his like commanding officer in the cops.
That's cool. Stone Cold's made some great movies. Stone Cold's made some badass stories. But, like, it's the same recycled story. It's the guy who works on the docks and his fucking daughter's birthday party's coming up and he's beer number 4. And, hey, real quick with beer number 4, folks, before we started today, I just want to say I had somebody line up for the podcast and something came up and they couldn't do it. And so I asked around and my buddy Zam decided he would swing by. He had the time. He was a little hungover. And he was like, yeah, give me like half hour. And he showed up and we've been doing what we've been doing. You've been hearing it. But that's not only beer number 4, but we are now at an hour and...
What?
29 minutes. Or 28 minutes.
No, we're at an hour and a half.
Hour and 28 minutes, sir. So I just want to say before we started, Zam.
Does that mean do we got to wrap it up?
No,
or?
not at all. We
Okay.
can keep going. We're fine. All
right.
What I'm saying is,
I don't know if we had time limits.
Oh no. Is we started, we pressed record, and literally one of my friends from off the street was able to come by and be like, "Hey, I'll bullshit with you for an hour." We had nothing to talk about. We talked about Pokemon for an hour with ease, and now we're talking about wrestling. Like,
and we've been going at it for a while, and I still haven't even gotten to number 4 and 5.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I think we're still on the Pokemon list. I don't even remember. I thought there was one more, but who knows?
No, I finished out my list.
All right. Cool.
I got to 6.
Cool.
But no, like rest was so with that break and like being able to get back and talking about it. Number 4. Oh wow, I just had is probably CM Punk.
Really?
I liked it. Like, so I didn't actually watch when he was actively wrestling, but I've gone back and seen stuff and like his style and his attitude for like what he did. I mean, I wasn't as a fan of the Straight Edge Society angle, but the dude has done nothing but rep Chicago.
That's true.
Like he made an entrance wearing a Duncan Keith Blackhawks jersey. Not a custom for his own self Blackhawks jersey, a Duncan Keith Blackhawks jersey once in Chicago. Like when he did an entrance, like he came out wearing it. His music pops, everybody goes nuts because it's the beginning of the show, and he rolls out. He's just wearing a Blackhawks jersey. Like, fuck yeah, guys! When I actually met him at C2E2, get him to autograph a shirt that I had, a CM Punk shirt. He had photos available that you could purchase and use for autographs.
Was he a dick?
No, he was actually pretty cool. He doesn't like talking about wrestling a lot, but and I've heard he can be a dick when you try to talk to him about wrestling sometimes. Probably more so now with the lawsuits that have happened over the past year or so.
Didn't he hit somebody or some shit?
No.
What was the lawsuit?
It was a lot. He was hit with a lawsuit of defamation of character by a WWE doctor, where he had claimed that Punk had made the claims that he had like a staph infection and like injuries that were misdiagnosed while he was in wrestling, and it caused him to be sicker and more hurt, and cost him time. And like he had made these comments in a podcast with Colt Cabana a couple years ago, and this doctor decided to file a multi-million-dollar defamation of character lawsuit against him.
Holy shit!
And this doctor, like, the problem was like this guy's argument was that his standing and ability, his standing and prestige was super diminished by this podcast, and so he was owed damages. During the fucking lawsuit, the guy said, "Yeah, everybody loves me. Nothing's wrong. Like, my life's awesome." He literally screwed himself into the ground, and the case got completely dismissed. But then Punk's now got a lawsuit possibly against him from Colt Cabana, because supposedly he had agreed to help carry Colt Cabana's legal fees.
All right.
And then, like, they showed an email exchange where, like, Cabana's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, why aren't you helping?" And Punk's like, "I've carried you too much. You're on your own."
Wow.
Like, kind of shit. So he's kind of being a dick right now, so he's not really well liked. But,
damn you, computer.
no, but on the overall, like, I mean, if you take away that personal stuff, though, but, what I was saying, so, like, the pictures.
Right.
He had like one or two from like wrestling or like his UFC fights. The others, there was him. There's him doing the shoot the puck at during one of the intermissions at a Blackhawks game. There's like him throwing out a pitch at a Cubs game. Like he had Chicago sports shit. Like him being involved in Chicago sports shit, like were part of his things. Like
yeah, but who else?
Those are the
right now is
pictures.
from Chicago?
Well, say those are the pictures that he wanted as like the thing to know about him.
Right. But like, how many times? Like, how many wrestlers have come out of Chicago? Do you know?
Not a ton that have made it that big. Like Colt Cabana is also Chicago.
Yeah, Colt Cabana used to host a pod or a radio show, and Punk was on a bunch, and a few of my friends were.
Well,
on
no,
too.
It was one of those. Was the one that was all the information about that doctor that led to the lawsuit.
I met him once at Comedy Sports. He was coming by, and I think Colt Cabana did a show there once, or it was something. It was something with those two doing something, and or he came by to do like the short improv games, and after you got to go up and meet him, and so I got a picture with him, and it was pretty nice. And like, I guess I just didn't know that he doesn't like to talk about it. But what else do you talk to him about?
What the thing you could talk to him about? You could talk to him about fighting. You could talk to him about wrestling, but he doesn't want to talk about WWE.
We talked about his Vespa. Like, I was just like, hey man.
He just likes people treating him like a person.
Right? No, I get that, but at the same time, you're not just a person. If you want people to treat you just like a person, don't pursue something. You know what I mean? Don't try to be.
It's because
people are going to come up and talk to you.
That's the thing. There are people like in all aspects that have a part of their life that they're trying to move beyond, and that's a part of his life that he's trying to move beyond. And you got to think of, he's already at a point where for years people have done nothing but talk about it to him. But I did, in all fairness, I did bring up wrestling to him, but I did not bring up WWE. I was wearing a fucking Braun Strowman shirt, so like obviously like he knew I was a wrestling fan,
right?
Like having him sign a shirt that said Bullet Punk. It was basically the Bullet Club like logo, but like with his like wrapped up, arms like crossed over on it, like with the Chicago flag thing. I'm like, and I gave it to him, and I was like, "Hey man, we could all dream, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, and then he was kind of keeping quiet, and then at first, and then I just said, "It's like, for all the talk, because this is a lot of people are trying to make some noise about him coming into the indie scene to wrestle with Kenny Omega." And I was like, yeah, people, like, they're going to make all their noise about wanting to, like, they're making all their noise, and you hear all the time, obviously, about people wanting you to, like, come in and, like, have a match with Kenny Omega or with Cody Rhodes.
Right.
They actually did face each other back in the WWE together. I was like, people, like, want to do that, but, like, dude, like...
There's also just a way to treat it, though.
Well, no,
I mean? It was an intimate room, though. It's not like I went and saw him at a Comic-Con where he has to have a smile on his face. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I
showed up to a room of 40 people there, and he wasn't just happy that these 40 people showed up. Like, he was scheduled to be there. It was an event, and it didn't even sell out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could walk from here to the bathroom.
There was a while when he was dealing with some major depression based on like his time in WWE.
And that could have been it too. You know what I mean? That could have been it too.
No, he was, because there was a period of like a year, like when anything, like he was going out and doing stuff because he needed to make money, but he was never really happy doing it, and he never really wanted to talk about stuff. But everybody kept asking him only about this, and he would say, "I don't want to talk about this," and the next thing out of somebody's mouth would be about that. When that's happening to you, like every couple of days for like a year, when you don't want to talk about something, yeah, the guy's gonna be salty. Like that's something that's gonna happen. But that's why, like I said, like he was kind of like stone faced when I was saying that at first. But then I told him, and then coming back to where I mentioned my number one wrestler, like Marty Scurll, I told him, I was like, honestly, my dream match would be if you came back in like with the Bullet Club and had a match with Marty Scurll. And he paused, like he like kind of like stopped for a second, his head tilted, and he looked up and he's like, "Really, Marty Scurll?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I feel like if anything, besides the fact that you guys would be entertaining as hell, like the mic work that you guys would do with each other would be like beyond anything anybody's ever seen. And then he just left with kind of a chuckling. It's like, I don't know, man. It's been a while since I've had to work a mic like that. Like, I don't know how it would go. It was kind of like that. And just kind of left it like that. I brought up something that was not his past, but was still part of what his passion was. And and he was fine. And the guy before me, they were just talking about the Blackhawks. Like that was honestly, the guy mostly, I think he just wants to talk about Chicago sports with people. because people don't do that with him. Like I said, all they want to do is talk about his wrestling past or his failed UFC fights, or now like his situation with the Doctor from WWE or his current feud with Colt Cabana.
So
that's the shit that people want to talk about, but all he wants to talk about is have an actual conversation with somebody about the fucking Hawks. He wants to talk about the goddamn Cubs.
Did you talk about the Hawks and the Cubs? You can sit,
not with that in that case.
Dude, don't get me wrong. We've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes now. And
no, I'm liking the topics we're on.
We could I'm definitely going to have you back to talk.
We'll do a sports theme day, different.
Right,
day.
We'll do a sports.
This is
day.
Pokemon and wrestling.
This is Pokemon. We'll do one about games, just in general.
No, this is the Pokemon and wrestling episode.
Yeah. So here's the deal, bro. I do have to start getting ready for work here in a little bit.
All right.
So
I'll throw down number 5 real quick. The entire stable of the New Day.
Which one?
The entire stable of the New Day. So Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. Because they are funny as shit, and they are entertaining as shit, and they are also really good wrestlers together.
I like that. That's a good way to drop the mic. But actually, you know what? I have one more quick question for you, just to kind of polish it off, all right?
Let's do it.
The introduction of new matches in wrestling can kind of go hand in hand with the introduction of new battle mechanics with Pokemon, for example, right? There's always something that has to step up a little bit, whether it be graphic or whether it be intensity, okay? So my question to you is, what is a match that you always wish you could have created and had like the top bill? And as examples for the listeners, while you think about it, just give me.
I'll talk about specific wrestlers as well, or
you can if you want. You can be like, but I'd like to see these people do it. That's fine. But think about this while I tell the audience this for a moment. Throughout wrestling, there's been different events, whether it be a single one-on-one match, all the way up to some big pay-per-view event, whether it be a Royal Rumble where 31 men technically, because there's 2 in the ring to start, right?
No, it's 30.
30 altogether, yeah. 30 men start with 2, and your goal is to throw them over the top rope. There was a chair match where it was okay to hit your opponent with a chair, but there was progression for all of this. So when it comes down to things like the cage match, that was gigantic. Then it became Hell in a Cell, and they put a fucking top to that cage, and now you're locked in with the person. And that was huge for heels that were considered to be monsters. And then there was the Elimination Chamber, for example. And with the Elimination Chamber, we now take 6 men, 4 at each post, I believe, and 2 to start. And it was a random selection. And as a viewer, you would sit there and watch as there'd be a and this light going around, lighting up each person in the cage, and then and it'd open it up, and oh my gosh, this person's just been brought in. Obviously, your goal is to last and be the last person out of the cage, because then you're the freshest, latest in the match. There's matches like the Inferno match, where they would light around the side of the rings. TLC match, table, ladder, and chairs. There was ladder matches where you had to climb to the top of a ladder to grab the giant golden belt and win the championship. There's all these different matches. There's been different video games where you get the chance to play in these matches. There's times where WWE had video games where you could do general manager mode, and with general manager mode, you were able to you were the manager. You were running the show, so you got to choose which I almost said which Pokemon, which people you wanna put in, because they all have different popularity and attributes and moves and this and that and specialties, and you had to spend the money just right. So Zam, with that being all said, what is your pitch for your match?
This thing, I can't really say that I have a pitch for like a different new type of match. When you're saying that, like, all it made me think about was how amazing it would be to experience the first TLC match again for the first time. The Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian.
Are you kidding me?
The original,
amazing.
The original TLC match. Tables, ladders, and chairs. The original of that.
So many tables.
That was when the world exploded. Like, tag team wrestling became beyond a phenomenon. Like Extreme Rules stuff started going beyond,
and that's a 3-way tag.
And it's a 3-way tag. Three guys in the ring
Six
simultaneously.
6 people out on the field. Like,
Yeah,
oh
and that not in that tornado tag, which is what they're doing more so now.
Are they?
Which is where it's like you have you have like the 3 or 4 teams like on the edges, but only 2 guys are in the ring at the same time. And like anybody, like if you get tossed into a corner, one of the guys from an opposing team, if they're both in there, one of them can tag themselves in and be the legal man now. That's lame. I want 3 or 4 guys in at the same time. Like, fuck, I want a tag match where there's 6 tag teams and 6 guys in the same time. Fuck, 8, 2 teams on each corner, like stuff like that. Like they need to get back into that, but they're not as high on the tag team division right now in WWE. Things aren't going well for it. Like they're not as over. That's really probably just Vince. But I'd say like no, when it comes to like dream matching or like putting something together, it's not that I have like I said, not that I have one that I would create. I would just want to be able to be the first time ever experiencing the original TLC again. Like, I mean, all 3 of those teams at their heyday, like in their prime peak physical condition. Like both the Hardys are in their 20s and like flying around like through the air off of ladders. Like Edge and Christian, like probably at the top of their strength before they became single stars, when they were just hilarious and you loved them. Like the Dudley Boys, when they didn't talk, they literally just showed up and put people through tables. 3Ds everywhere. Like that, getting to experience that for the first time again that's the dream for me.
I love that. That'd be awesome, man. My match that I've always thought would be great, but I think people would die, so we probably couldn't do it. I'm not gonna lie. Is mystery box around the ring? Okay. Very easy material to like throw someone through, and it's just weird mystery. Like you can suplex somebody off the top rope, like out onto the floor, and you'll break through.
Superplex.
And yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're about to fall into.
Yeah, that would.
I know it sounds weird, but that's but some of them are stupid shit.
Yeah.
Some of them are stupid shit. It's goofy for the kids. Like they just fell into a giant pit of spaghetti. It's like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? But there's also times where it's like, he just fell into the pit of heroin needles. It happened.
Okay, well that's a little different.
I'm just fucking with you.
No,
all right, guys.
Let's say like original to wrap that up in fully. Like it's an anniversary of the Hell in a Cell match where Mankind got thrown off of the top of the cage, and then later choke slammed onto a bed of nails. This year's the anniversary of it, which he is rummaging through something. He's looking for a photo. He got a starry-eyed look in his face.
Yep, and guess what? It's around here somewhere. I still have yet to put the pot room together, but I have a autographed picture of Mankind with his teeth popping out of his lip and his nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were just featuring that. Mankind also just got announced to be the special guest referee for the Braun Strowman-Roman Reigns title match at Hell in a Cell.
Is it going to be like hardcore rules?
Dude, it's Hell in a Cell.
It's going to be awesome.
Hell in a Cell is no DQ. That's how it's always been. Hell in a Cell is no DQ. I mean, you can't really bring in foreign objects, but it's the only way to win is by pinfall or submission.
No shit.
And Mankind was officially announced as the special guest referee just this past Monday.
Huh.
And that's this coming Sunday.
No shit.
Yeah, and for those of you who, if this goes up before then,
it comes out Friday.
Yep. So Friday, if you download the WWE app, they give you a free first month of access to all their shit that's on it, and which includes the broadcast of pay-per-views. So that Hell in a Cell pay-per-view would be free in that first month. I mean, cancel before the month's over, but also every single pay-per-view from WWE, the old school WWF, WCW, and ECW. Every pay-per-view is available through that app streaming. They've got some really fun shows.
Well, you already pay for the network, right?
Oh, I pay for it.
Dude, you know what we should do sometime? We should meet back up and we should watch some classic matches and we'll do commentary for it.
Yeah.
And we'll just make it an episode. We'll put it on the.
We'll each pick a match.
Yeah.
Like for that third from history, and then we'll look it up and we'll queue it up.
Yeah.
We'll pause obviously for queuing because you got to fast forward some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, we probably wouldn't have to pause too much because I'm sure we'll talk in depth about it.
I think I already know which match I would pull up to.
Yeah? All right, well, hold on to it, man.
Yeah.
We'll meet up in the next week or so, and we'll try getting something going, all right?
Yeah.
Guys, we are now about 13 minutes away from the 2-hour mark, and I don't know how much Facebook lets me put up, so I think we're going to cut it here real quick, guys. We got no more beer to drink, but we got plenty of whiskey on the side, so, yo, we're going to get out of here. Zam GodDamn, thank you so much, my friend.
Blood.
Love you, dude.
Love you too, Bob.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being a part of it.
No problem, dude. Hey, I always talk about Pokemon and wrestling.
Yeah, why not? Why not? That's all it takes, man.
And hopefully next time we do an episode, we'll have a winning Bears record to talk about.
Hopefully. What'd you think of the first game, man?
Dude.
But I'm going to say Mac came out strong.
Dude.
Mac came out strong.
The Mac attack. Dude, I can't
Put him
wait.
on his ass.
No, when Mac and Roquan Smith are both cleared to be 3-down linebackers, that's when that defense is a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Neither of them were conditioned enough where they were cleared for full games. They were limited, and that was a part of why that comeback happened. Also, Aaron Rodgers came back angry and focused. An angry and focused, possibly best quarterback in history of the league. It doesn't matter who you are on defense, you don't stand a chance.
That's true. That's true.
He was taking 2-step drops and unloading the ball. Like, it was like snap, up, toss. That ball was out before the defense had time to react. We did not stand a chance in that fourth quarter because he was pissed off. I do not like playing a pissed off Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we'll see how the season unfolds, man.
Yep.
All right, man.
Right.
Guys, enjoy. Be kind as always. Be good to each other. All right. See you next time, guys. Later. Thanks, man. That was fucking great.
Hey, dude.
All right, everybody. That wraps it up for us. To answer Zam's question earlier, I know you were like, hey, Tyler said that he was going to drop in the name of that town, and he never did. And it just totally left your mind because you probably didn't really give a shit. I hope you did. It was Viridian City. Viridian City. It's one of the most iconic fucking places in the Pokemon realm. And we both totally spaced. Thanks again for swinging out and listening to us. Tell your friends, tell your grandma. You know what? Everyone should send this podcast to their grandma. Why? Because you don't call your grandma. You don't call your grandma near enough. And if your grandma's not with you anymore, I'm sorry, but you don't call her. And she doesn't get a lot of calls. And you know what? As many calls as she doesn't get, grandpa doesn't get either. Send this shit to your grandparents. I'm sure they're gonna dig it. They're sick of watching Telemundo and reading Teen Vogue and all that stupid shit. So, yeah. Send our podcast to the elderly. Like I said, if you ain't got grandparents, fucking just, tag your local elderly shelter. Elderly shelter. Oh my god. We're gonna get taken down one day. Yeah, just get a hold of the old folks home. Tell them what's up. Vote yes on Proposition H&H. Hi and hello. Spread the word. Make sure you register to vote, because that's coming up. November 6th is around the corner. And honestly, there's no way you could have found this podcast without being reminded that you need to register to vote, because it's that important. So get that done, and we'll get back to you. All right. Love you, everybody. Be good. Peace.